Hey, I'm back. Going live today with Marieta Oslanec. I'm very excited to have her here today. We met through friends almost 2 years ago, and she's a very, very inspiring person to me. She's an internationally published author. Here she is. Let me bring her in. There we go. Author, conscious business coach, an immigration attorney. So she has so many interesting perspectives to share. And hello, welcome.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hi, so good to see you and talk to you.
Absolutely happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm just gonna fix this a bit so you guys
Yeah.
see me.
Yes, right. It's always getting everything lined
Right.
up. Yes. And hi, Katie Cons, Indiana Dansky. Love you, ladies. Welcome,
Okay.
everybody.
Awesome.
Great. How is your morning going?
It's perfect. How are you today?
I love it. I'm doing well. Are you over in Marina right now?
No,
Or
I'm actually right now I'm in Europe, but
you are in Europe?
I'm in Europe. I'll be in Marina, I think in 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I would definitely love to see you when you're back.
Yeah, me too.
That'll be really, really fun. Okay,
Cannot
great.
wait.
And so just mentioning, you and I met through friends. Our friend Veronica used to host these wonderful dinner parties before COVID set in, and I just got to meet all the most wonderful, interesting, dynamic people, such as Marietta.
Likewise.
Things, doing interesting things and writing and publishing books that get published in multiple languages and coaching people and helping people be successful. And of course, you have a background in immigration law and you know what it is to come to a country and all the paperwork and all the different things you have to go through to do it legally and do it right and have adventures. So
Absolutely.
love it. What I love to start with is, what does feeling good mean to you?
Yeah, I love the question, by the way. And I was thinking, how am I going to answer it? I'm just going to simplify it. For me, it means to be aligned with my intuition and with my heart. Yeah, every day, pretty much. And obviously, sometimes it's difficult for us to even hear the intuition. And right, sometimes we don't know if it's intuition speaking or is it fear or what's going on. But like really, when I'm aligned truly with my heart, with my soul, with my intuition, I feel balanced and I feel happy and I feel good.
I love that. The intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oof. Ooh. What are some things that you like to do to help get into the space where you can hear your intuition?
Well, it's definitely a meditation practice. So for me, silencing the monkey mind, right, the analytical mind, if you will, is so important because, like, part of what I do is obviously I'm still practicing law. I'm coaching
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in a capacity of business coach, more or less. So for me to really tune into my heart, I have to silence the mind, and sometimes it takes some time, right? So definitely that is my number one tool
Yeah.
that I'm trying to do every single day. And sometimes I skip meditation, so then I'm a little bit all over the place. But every time I meditate, it just brings me to the space of peace and calm and that love frequency.
I love that. And I was even just having a conversation with my own coach. I just got off the phone with her, and uh, I know how good meditation is for me, and I know how much better I feel and do when I'm doing it. And then there's just times like right now where I just like a petulant child. I have like all this resistance I can feel in my back, and I'm like, if you just go sit down, even for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
just play some music and breathe, or like play your singing bowl and just like get a little bit quiet, you're gonna feel great. And
Totally.
then like that little child inside of me is just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I know like it's something that we don't want to do. Why would you sit and just meditate, right? So I remember I did a silent retreat, Vipassana in the past, and that was like,
I saw
remember
you right
remember
after
when
that. I saw you
exactly,
right after
yeah,
Vipassana.
exactly. We met right after Vipassana,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, it was for me, it's kind of weird to talk. You were
Yes,
like one
yeah,
of the
exactly.
right?
You're
So like
you were kind
what
of
it's
apologetic about it. You're like, kind of in a,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how to talk right now.
yeah. Exactly. So you know, like when you it's really, I feel like meditation practice, it's a habit you cultivate, right? So once you get out of the habit, it's so hard to go back, you know, and just sit. But it's so uh it has so many benefits for us to just pause and sit in silence, or if not necessarily in silence, guided meditation or any kind of
Yeah,
meditation,
yeah,
right? Because it is absolutely necessary. I feel like, especially these days, you know, we are under pressure, and the collective consciousness is obviously shifting. So I feel like it's a must. And I feel like every time I do force myself to meditate, it brings it brings that happiness, it brings that feeling good, because you become more balanced. In fact,
yeah,
your brain becomes balanced. So to feel good, we have to live in balance. Even though I'm the one who is workaholic, I have the workaholic tendencies. Okay,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
know how challenging it is for us to literally meditate on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love that. I would love for you to, if you're open to it, discuss the Vipassana that you did a little bit.
Sure, of
Yeah.
course. So, what do you want to know? So, I've done four
Like, what's
Vipassanas
it
in
for those?
different
Yeah.
locations. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Even sort of like the general ideas or what some of them look like. 'Cause I think when I met you, just done like a 10-day one.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm. So
yeah.
basically, Vipassana, it is the silence retreat where you sit in silence for 10 days and you meditate, I think, from 12 to 16 hours a day. And there is this Goenka organization that they are doing and providing these retreats around the world. So it is donation based. So you can
Okay.
pretty much apply and choose the location of your preference. And yeah, I mean, the schedule is crazy, literally, because you only meditate or sleep, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. Like you give away your phone, you don't talk to anybody. It's you and yourself within your bubble. But at the same time, I felt that it was the most profound experience for me in a very organic way, when I was able
Yeah.
to realize more of who I am, who we really are is the energy. It's not the body. And when I say energy, it's the movement of energy and potential, right? So it's experience itself that is going to bring you closer to who you are, to the source. Now, is it challenging? Of course it is
Yeah.
challenging, because you are
Yeah.
facing your shadows, your demons, and you know your whatever needs to come up to the surface will come up to the surface for you, and it will dissolve. And oftentimes it's very unpleasant and painful, because you don't want to sit in silence, you don't want to observe your thoughts, you don't want to meditate when you feel like you want to talk to people, or you know, just walk in the nature. Depends where you do the Vipassana retreat. For me, the first one was in Bali, which was gorgeous monastery. This was actually not organized by Goenka organization, and
Okay.
it was in gorgeous monastery. It was more traditional with monk, and it was beautiful experience. And the second one I did with the Goenka organization in Nepal, which was, I think, 6 weeks later, and it was so hard because my mind was comparing the experience, the first experience with the second experience. You know, the first one was in beautiful Bali, beautiful garden, beautiful monastery. Second one was literally cold. It was, I think it was Christmas time, close to Kathmandu, in the
Mhm.
meditation center, and most of the time we were sitting. So it was sitting meditation. The first one was combination of sitting and walking. So it was more fun in that beautiful garden, right? You can observe
Yeah.
trees and you can talk to, you know, butterflies, whatever. You create your own universe.
Yeah.
But the second time is like super strict. We were just sitting in a sitting position. It was just
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
And that, yeah, and that's physically really hard. I've
Yeah,
spoken with,
it was hard.
yeah,
It was
some
hard.
other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I
Yeah, I mean,
recommend
even me,
it.
like I'm a pretty calm person, but like I realize how much like I twitch my feet and I do this, and like
Mm-hmm.
even when you watch me on these videos, like I change my position in my seat like a bajillion different times. So the idea of like really just sitting, it can that's a whole other level of concentration. That's
Yeah,
kind of
totally.
brings different things up. It made me think a second ago, probably some pretty good training for this past year of quarantine. I feel like
Oh,
everybody in our own ways, we had to go into some of that, or that's been, I think, part of like the growth available to all of us humans on the planet right now.
That is
And
a very good point, because I literally felt that those 4 Vipassanas retreats literally prepare
yeah,
me for that retreat what's going on last
yeah,
year. You know what I mean? Because there was like an
yeah,
extension of retreat, like extended retreat. And I remember, it's so funny how life works, you know. I remember the last retreat, that's when we met. This was January
yeah,
2020.
yeah,
And I remember that retreat experience wasn't that difficult for me. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm mastering this level.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
thought, you know? It's
yeah,
like, I wonder what would be the next challenge for me.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
Don't
totally.
worry, Marietta, you're not there yet. There's more
Yeah.
challenges.
You know, like you have this thought and like universe will deliver. Girl, you be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, the idea of like, yeah, growth can often come as these like really big challenges. And if you're ready to see it as a challenge and an opportunity, you can do really well. And
Totally.
or like I've definitely let some of those things like weigh me down and pull me down, and how to learn how to get back out of them.
100%. Couldn't agree more with you. And at the same time, I feel like challenges are here to help us, because they are forcing us to tap again within. Like I wouldn't go to these retreats if my life was perfect back then. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
always the challenges that forced me
Yeah.
to go within and look for the answers within and look for the light and love. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
wasn't like my life was smooth and perfect,
Yeah.
and let me just go to sit in silence for 10 days because I have nothing else to do. You know what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
always the challenge that is bringing the best out of us, I feel.
I like that. I like that too. Another concept that's been coming up for me a lot lately that feels like ties in with this is like the darkness that I can experience, whether it's in depression or other things there, just some of the challenges, the idea of this darkness that we can get into sometimes, and that the only way out of the darkness is through it. And if
Oh my
you're
God.
willing to just go into it and go into the feelings, go into what's going in there, and you can go through it. And I feel that I have received like a light or like a candle each time I've gone through the darkness. So that when I go back to the darkness, I have a little bit more light with me to help me go through it. So there's
That is so
kind of
true.
reminding of that, like
Oh
of
my God.
that
So
space where you
it's
don't be.
absolutely, and I couldn't agree more, because there are many these new age teachings, they talk about be positive, and I feel like actually, no. We live in duality, and there is nothing wrong with darkness if you can use
Yeah,
the darkness for your own benefit to turn it into light. And I feel like the way we discover the light through absolutely through darkness. Like you have to dive deeper into it, and that's when it comes to you. Like
yeah,
because ultimately light and love is it's the truth. Like love is the law. Like I my title of
yes,
my book.
the book. I love that. Yeah,
I have it here. Let me show you. Woo!
yes, love is the law. It's true.
Yeah, and it is like when you really, really think about it, it is the love is the law, is the ultimate law. So even the darkness is going on in your life, like you go through it, and there is going to be light that you're going to find and discover at the end
Yeah,
of the tunnel.
so helpful to know that, and to not be afraid of it, and to
Mm,
recognize that it's not permanent. This has been a
mm,
really big thing for me. I feel like when I was younger and in my 20s, it was really easy to get lost in it and feel like, oh my God, I'm down here again. I'm in this depression again, or like I can't figure anything out. And like, what am I doing? And I don't know how to be happy. I don't know. These
mm.
things used to interest me. Now they don't interest me anymore. Just very apathetic. And each time I was able to come back up, I started to learn that I don't have to go all the way down. I started to learn how
Mm.
to recognize different triggers that were sending me down that path, and that it didn't mean I was going to be there forever. And this morning, my coach and I were saying, she's like, it's definitely a roller coaster. Last week, I was like down in the bottom of the roller coaster. And then, like, I realized I needed to shift a few things consciously. And now this week, like, I'm coming back up the hill. I'm like, ooh, this is fun again. And just being okay for myself that the roller coaster is going to dip down and it's going to come back up. And where you started with coming to that place of being balanced.
Mm. Yes,
And
the
circling back to,
neutrality, totally. Because when you are neutral, you observe the reality as is. You observe your feelings as is. You are not attaching to your emotions, and you okay with whatever is. And when you're okay with whatever is, it's just gonna disappear. Like you're going to, it's
mm,
almost like you surrender to it, and that's when it's gonna lose the power over you.
yeah,
Right? So
yeah,
it's okay to be up and down. Like that, I feel like
yeah,
that's life, right? It is
yeah,
life to be up and down. Like who says you have to be up all the time? Like it will be pretty boring if you up all the time.
yeah.
Right?
I think so
Like,
too.
right? Like
Yeah,
what would be the experience? Like I
yeah,
feel like the contrast is really serving the purpose. Like the contrasted experience, the reality, the up and down, right? Like you down, you in darkness,
yeah.
and whatever you're experiencing, at some point you're gonna go up, and then that's when you up, you're going to experience and appreciate life, whatever aspect it is,
Mhm.
because you have that opposite contrasted experience before that brought you to the understanding of how amazing life is, how beautiful life is.
Boom. Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, the sunny days aren't anything without the rain too. And it's funny being
Totally.
here in Southern California. We have tons and tons of sunny days, which
Yeah.
I love and I'm obsessed with. And
Hmm.
then when we have the cloudy days, I get to love those as much too. And then when we have the rain, I get to love that so much because we need it. And so
Exactly. That's the
I,
beauty. And yeah, like you are appreciating the change, and that is life. I feel like a lot, and there is also another law in the book called law of change, which people are resisting the change, but that's
so
the one of the
much.
laws, right?
Yes, yeah. I would love to hear more about sort of the inspiration or how you came to writing Love is the Law. Like what propelled you into that?
So, okay, so it's a long story. I think
Yeah.
it was yeah,
Like that's a
it,
different conversation.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So I'm just gonna give you the short version. It was at
Yeah.
the very beginning of my spiritual awakening journey. It was
Yeah.
2013. I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. He cheated on me, sort of, and we had like this very painful breakup. He was also my business partner back then. So we
Mm,
were two lawyers, running international law firm, and it just didn't end up well, basically. So
yeah.
that forced me to go within pretty much, and I started to meditate, and that was one day I got this download telling me that, pretty much I heard the voice telling me that, or maybe it was my higher self, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
It was
exactly. Definitely. I hear voices
exactly
so and I
right,
probably
like it was a stream of consciousness pretty
yeah.
much telling me that, how like artistic people or creatives, we just have these ideas, it comes through us, it's a
Yeah.
stream of consciousness. It's not necessarily that I'm gonna just come up with a strategy the way I do in my business coaching or
Mm,
as a lawyer. No, it was like opposite. Like it just came through me, and I started to just write, and it was just pouring out of me. And that's pretty much how it happened. Like it was first draft, and then I was kind of stuck for a couple of years, to be honest, because I
yeah.
didn't want to step outside of that box of
Yeah.
lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And it was very uncomfortable for me to show my heart and vulnerable side and all those
Sure.
experiences over the years.
Yeah.
And then finally, I remember I was at this one of those silence retreats in
Okay.
2019, and again, I would hear, either I had a vision or I would hear the voice again, and it's time. You have to just give it to the world. Like, don't be selfish, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm doing it now. Like, whatever, I'm doing it, you know? So that was that happened in 2019. Yeah. So I
Okay.
decided, I committed, okay, I'm doing it. I'm publishing the book. And yeah, and here we are today.
That's amazing too. And I love getting to hear that part of it as well. And you definitely hear from other authors, but that it is a process. I mean, essentially inspiration to product or to the decision to
Yeah.
execute, truly execute 6 years. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. I mean, I wrote the book first time, the draft I wrote in 2014. It was published
Yeah.
2019 in US, so 5 years literally. And then
Yeah.
it was published in Europe last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
So it's a long time, you know what I mean? But the thing is, I feel like whatever your heart's calling is, you have to
yeah.
honor it. And if you don't honor it, it's like you're gonna destroy yourself, literally. I
Absolutely.
felt that
Yeah.
I back then, before I published the book, like I felt
Yeah.
that I was hiding, and I just
Uh-huh.
wanted to be normal lawyer, and
Yeah.
it wasn't really serving me because universe, God, higher power had different plans for me, and it
Yeah.
was pushing me towards this direction. And this is something important that I want to tell people, especially if you are multi-passionate. Like if you
Mm.
have different talents, skills, gifts, it's your job to follow your heart's calling so you can give it to others, because it's not just about you. You are serving other people, we are serving each other. That's how we are contributing to each other, and we are uplifting each other. And it's so funny because I had this calling to publish in 2019. It was right before COVID hit, right? So it was
Yeah.
sort of a blueprint, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I couldn't even predict it. And there were
Yeah.
people who read the book during COVID and they were like, oh my God, I love your book. So
Yeah. It's
so
amazing.
it's kind of, we have to trust that it's not really just that what you, and this comes to purpose, even purpose in life. It's not even about you, what you think is your purpose. It's actually the purpose is calling you, and you just honor it, honor the calling. It's gonna take you where you need to go.
I love hearing that so much because it is, and it's difficult to listen to that. And I really identify with what you're saying about the hiding. That's something that's been coming up for me the last 2 years. And even deciding that I really want to do this conversation series was one of my steps of being like, stop hiding. So I so
And look
love
at you, how beautiful
hearing all
you
that.
are, how amazing you are. You're bringing people together, like you're doing your purpose. And yeah, I love that you decided to follow it. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah, I like the idea of these like breadcrumbs. Like there's just little things sometimes. It's like, oh, that sounds kind of yummy. That sounds like it might be kind of fun to do. And so it's has been so easy for me to just set those things aside. It's like, oh, whatever, like, or you feel the uncomfortableness, like you said, the
Hmm.
hiding, and like you wrote it, but you're like, I'm a lawyer and
Mm,
I don't think I want to expose this part of myself, even
mm.
though this is really my heart and really a big area that I know I have to give to people.
Yeah, well, I feel like if you don't expose yourself, like if you're hiding, you keep hiding, something's gonna happen to you. Like in my case, I literally had, this was 2019. Yeah, I had like, for whatever reason, and it was again like me, my limiting belief.
Yeah.
Actually 2018 was 2018 towards end. I would have like a severe panic attacks, like for like out of blue. And I
Really.
back then I was hiding again, so I
Yeah.
knew I knew when I went to that silence retreat, I totally healed myself, and I knew that it was actually guidance, like universe was trying to show me the way because I was resisting. And that's something that many people are experiencing. Like you have a calling, you ignore it, you suppress. At some point in life, you're either going to become depressed, or things will go wrong for you, or the doors will close for you, or you, in some cases, you might get sick, and
Yeah.
whatever disaster
Yep.
will happen to you. And the disaster is serving a purpose again. It's really trying to put you on your path. And because
I
I
love
truly
that.
believe, like it makes sense. Like when I look back,
Yeah.
everything makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can resist as long as you want, but good luck then.
Yeah.
You
You're
know
only
what I mean?
making it more difficult for yourself
Yeah.
by resisting that
Hmm.
voice that's inside that's telling you, just look over here, look
Yep.
over here, just do it.
Just do
Um,
it.
so power, because I'm the same as you. Like I can look and I can see where I was resisting things so much, even when like years ago, like I had a restaurant and I ran it from like 2008 to 2012, which was that
Hmm.
really terrible recession we had a little while ago.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just so determined to like keep on that path. And
Hmm.
when I look back now, I just kept seeing how like I got what I needed out of it, and I should have moved on sooner, but I was just so stubborn about making this work, and this is what I wanted, and this is it had to be this, and I needed to make it this way, and I needed to build the company this way, and everything else in the universe is like, that's not where you're going.
Yeah.
You're done now. Until I was very depressed,
Hmm.
didn't even know how depressed. I didn't even know I was actually in depression until a friend started to point it out and pull me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just didn't know what to do. And then also kind of poisoned myself to feel like a failure for years afterwards. For about 5 years, I didn't even like to talk about the fact that I owned a restaurant.
Wow.
Now I can talk about it and feel like better about it. It's almost 10 years ago now. But yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, totally. So you have beautiful experience that is totally confirming it. And it's funny how we humans, and I guess we are conditioned, right? We are conditioned by the environment, parents,
Yeah.
school system, and all of that is conditioning us. And
Safety.
there are not that right, and there are not that many people telling you that, oh, follow your heart and you can have it all. You know what? Turn your passion into profit. Become a millionaire like that. Like who talks like, you know what I mean? Like no,
Yeah.
be a lawyer, be a doctor, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Label
Yeah.
box after box. But the time is shifting. It's like whether we like it or not.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. I feel like it's so helpful to hear from you, from people who have taken the steps to push through that and come to the other side and be like, oh wow, actually if each time I'm getting rocked and I'm getting thrown off my path, the doors are getting closed, things are shutting down. I'm with you now. That's how I look at things now. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? Am I on the right path? Do I need to change course? Even for me, like even in my, to be like really honest, in my Pilates business right now, I keep feeling like I keep leveling off. It's like I take steps and I'm doing different things and like, oh, okay, get a new client on. And then a client falls off. Some financial
interesting.
to that. And then something else comes up and then something else falls off. And I feel like I keep doing this like leveling out thing. So I'm in a process right now of being like, what's this stuck energy? And like when these different doors are closing and like little ones are opening, am I saying yes to the right things? Am I saying no to the right things? And instead of, because it can be really easy to be like, oh, okay, well, I've messed it up, or I'm not good at this, or like, what am I not doing right? Instead of just saying like, well, what else is going on here? Am I being pushed in a different direction? Am I being led to go somewhere else? Versus, like I said, when I had my restaurant, I came out of that. I felt like a super failure. I had a really hard time. Even the idea of like trying to go to get another job, I was like, how can I promote myself to go work for somebody else when I couldn't even do it for myself? And just like all those really, really low points. So.
But then what happened? What happened after? Like, how did you find out that you want to do what you're doing right now? What was the...
Yeah, so that was a few years process. One of the things that happened was I decided to move to California. So I was in Pennsylvania when I had the restaurant. And then I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. My restaurant was a little outside of Philly. I didn't want to be in Pennsylvania anymore. I thought about New York because I had a lot of connections and love for that city. And then I also had some connections in LA. And when I thought about New York, it was gray. Like I felt like it was just going to take me down. And when I thought about LA, it was yellow. So I felt like here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to yellow. So that's how I always described. I came to LA because it was yellow, but I wanted to be by the beach. I wanted to be in the sun. I had a few friends out here that I always felt good being around. I always felt good when I came out to visit here. And so I worked a couple different jobs. I even went back into sales with a company I'd worked with when I was in Philadelphia. Did that for a few years. And again, similar thing, kept finding myself going into depression, kept finding that like I didn't feel like I was on the right path. I was just struggling every day to get to work, to get through work, doing like little things, like getting a really nice expensive coffee from down the street at 7 a.m. before I drove into the office, driving along the beach route instead of taking the freeway, different things to try to calm myself down and like try to get me through the day, until I got to a point where I would have days where I was like, if you just need to finish what you're doing today, and if you don't want to come in tomorrow, you can call out sick. And just like starting to give myself mental health days. And then I was like, none of this is okay. This is not okay. And it was, and there's things about that job that I really liked. But I was just falling apart. I was just absolutely falling apart. And so I decided, I had a couple months of money saved up, and I decided to just quit. And I had a couple ideas in mind of kind of what to do. And then through that, a friend asked me if I wanted to start doing makeup work, and she trained me. So I started doing makeup work on set. And then another friend who's now my mentor, she owns a Pilates studio. She's a Pilates teacher, a yogi, celebrity fitness trainer. She's worked with some really, really big names. And she wanted to start a certification program for Pilates. So
Okay.
she asked me on the business side, she's like, hey, you're freelancing now. Would you be interested in helping me build this program? So she and I started working together. And while I was setting up the marketing and putting everything together for that, I kind of sold it to myself. I was like, I need it. I want to do this.
Totally.
And she's such an amazing person, and like her knowledge of the body and how the body works and everything. I was like, I want to learn from her. And there was something about her, like 6 months earlier before she asked me to do this, we were just in our friend group having a conversation, and there was just something about her. I was like, I want more of her. I'm like, whatever she's doing, I want in on it. I want in on what she's doing. And then 6 months later, she asked me to work with her, and we've worked together ever since. And she's become one of my dearest friends and mentor and everything. So that's how it just kind of, it came to me. So it's, but I left the job that wasn't serving me, that I knew I was in the wrong place. And then everything else came in. And it doesn't mean there weren't a whole lot of challenges, primarily financial along the way. But that's what's been pushing me down this path, like to where we're at now. So that's kind of
it's kind of what I said, you know, it's kind of the same thing. Like when you start, finally you let go and you decided to trust and you made that leap of faith, right? Like you jump and you're like, you know what, I'm quitting. I'm following my heart. I'm following my intuition, even though it sounds crazy. People might think I'm crazy. Who cares? I'm doing it. And that is when that is going to lead you where you need to go. And it is scary, right? It is like the ego is telling you, who do you think you are? You can live like this. Who do you think you are? You can have your own business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, like despite that inner fear you have, you still take the next step, and that next step will lead you to another step. And you trust and just trust that a calling, your heart knows better than your brain.
Yeah, the trusting is really, really big. There's one phrase I like. Instead of see it to believe it, it's believe it
to see it,
so that you can see it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very challenging to do. When you've started doing it a few times, it gets easier, and then it's more exciting because you're like, I don't know what's coming next, but something's happening.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm just following this trail. And actually I had a really good conversation with somebody the other day. He says when he like does his meditation, he'll like say a prayer or like have an intention of, he always asks for a guiding light. And it was really fun to talk to him. I'm like, oh, I've always had a bit of a prayer of like asking for guidance, take me where I need to go. And it reminded me, because I haven't really used that one in a while, it reminded me of like how useful that's been. And yeah, it was just interesting kind of sharing his journey of how he kind of got into the work he's doing now. And I was like, oh, that's like really curious. He just kind of kept saying yes. He just kept asking for a guiding light. And every time he found a little light, he just said yes and kept going.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. But again,
I mean, whatever work, it's kind of like whatever works for you, you know? Some people can ask for guiding lights, other people have angels, other people listen to intuition. I guess it depends. Like we have all different psychic skills also. So whatever works for you, just follow that.
Yes, it is so true. So interesting. Do you have any daily routines or rituals that you like to do to help you find that intuitive voice, or just help you through the day, things that make you feel good?
So for sure, the meditation practice, like I already shared, but also working out. Like I feel like if I don't move my body, because that is moving the energy, right? So so I try to work out every day. I'm very big. I believe that good night's sleep is essential for that balance that I was talking about, right? So good night's sleep, working out, fresh air.
1 second, something is off with my, never mind. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Cool.
Great.
Sorry. So the combination, right? The balance, like food, sleep, and meditation and workout. That's a must. And and I feel like it's simple things that are bringing you back to nature. And this is for me a must.
Inexpensive too. All things
inexpensive. Yeah, right.
100% cost free anywhere you are.
Totally. Yeah. So it's just to simplify your life a bit, you know, or sometimes social media detox, or you know, computer detox, because I'm all the time working on my computer. So I try not to be on my computer during the weekend, because obviously I want to I need that detox for me to be able to even to be able to be creative and to obviously function. And, so yeah, simple things.
Yeah. It's crazy, and because the screens are all super addictive. TV, phone, computer.
Oh my God.
The light. I mean, even that's the thing, like babies love the screens, and it's for nothing other than the light. Like their eyeballs just want to be looking at the light. So
yeah,
it's super addictive, let alone all of the like dopamine release we get when we hop onto Instagram and see that people have liked our post or commented. And I'm with you. Like there's times when I feel like I'm using it wisely and I'm connecting with people and it's inspiring, and then there's other times when I feel myself on there and I feel, now that I can identify what my anxiety feels like, I didn't recognize that for a while, but I can feel like the anxiety creeping in and like I just need to scroll a little bit more, and then I'm like,
totally,
what are you avoiding?
Oh my God,
I'm like, why am I sitting here just doing this? What am I avoiding? What am I resisting? That's a big thing.
Absolutely. Or even
probably meditation.
Exactly.
I could sit here for the next 5 minutes and meditate and feel better about things and get closer in touch with my intuition. Or I could just sit here and scroll and feel anxiety. I think I'll just scroll and feel anxiety.
Yeah, 100%. And also another thing I want to say that I feel like too much of social media is actually decreasing your productivity levels. And I found myself not being so productive and not being in my zone of genius when I'm using social media, you know, like I need to actually, like, I don't like to go on Facebook, for example. And if I go to Instagram, I like to just post and be out, because I feel like you start seeing other posts, like, and then it's going to create your own universe, you know, it's going to influence you, it's going to influence your energy, it's going to influence your creativity, it's all subconscious even. So you have to be very mindful, how are we using social media? Also, what are you posting, right? And like another thing, that perfectionism and comparing with other people and their perfect lifestyle, that's like another disease, I feel like. That's going to bring you into 100%, you're going to become depressed if you do that. So it's just illusion. Like the entire social media, it's just one giant illusion, virtual reality that people are part of. And there was this good documentary movie, I forgot the name. I think it was on Netflix. It was about social media.
The Social Dilemma?
Yes. Oh my God. Yep.
Yeah.
So good.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely worth looking at, and just to reanalyze, because there's, like I said, there's can be some really, really great things that I really enjoy, but it's consciously engaging with social media and doing it in a way that works for you, because it is, like you said, this getting into the subconscious, because it's such a hypnotic thing. So when
hypnotic,
that hypnotic state, it puts us into our subconscious, and then we're just programming ourselves.
Yeah, totally programming.
Really interesting.
And especially when you go to bed and you're changing the brain waves, you're going from alpha to beta brainwave, and that's when you're becoming super vulnerable. So whatever you see, it's literally jumping to your subconscious mind, and it is influencing you, and you don't even know it.
So important to.
So instead of that, be mindful, and do maybe meditation, visualize your future, and feed your subconscious mind with images that you want to manifest, because we are that powerful if we know how we can use it consciously.
Absolutely, I love that. I think I'm so glad you said that. I think that's so helpful for people to hear that. And I'm really big on like sleep hygiene kind of stuff, as far as I have like red lenses that I wear in the evening, so I'm not taking in so much blue light. My roommate and I both like to have that kind of like mood lighting, so I don't have too much around. I do watch like a little bit of TV, but I take a shower usually before I go to bed for numerous reasons. One of them is just being like, I love being clean, going into my sheets and having clean feet, but that's kind of where it started. But then it became that I like the idea of just kind of like washing the day off of me, and it gives me this buffer zone between if I was watching TV or on my phone. Like I put down the screens, I put everything away, I take my shower and get ready for bed, and then maybe I'll read a little bit and then go to sleep, and I'm because I'm with you, I'm really huge on having good quality sleep. And I love that you brought up how, especially right before we go to sleep, when we're changing those brain waves, if we're getting into the subconscious there. So if you're scrolling and you're putting these other thoughts in, or like comparing yourself to other people, you're putting yourself, that's where you're going to wake up the next day. So instead, you can take the time to visualize what you do want. I love that.
Yeah, and be mindful and be aware that you are actually creator of your life. Yeah. You can create anything you want. It is the matter of belief and focus and taking aligned action. And again, I'm going to repeat belief, right?
But
because that I feel like that's like the ultimate, that is, you start with belief, but people say, yeah, I believe, but they don't actually believe. When you believe, you know it's happening. It's already yours. Yeah. And so use that energy wisely. And of course, especially now, you know, like since 2020, we all were so challenged. And I feel like everything is shifting for everyone. And we live in a different reality now. So I feel like this is the time for us to actually really awaken to the deeper truth, or you can play the victim. It's up to you how you're going to respond to it.
Yeah. So important to say that, because I'm definitely been through plenty of phases where it was easy enough for me to play the victim or pretend to be the martyr. Like, and
it's okay. It's life, right? We are learning through that. We are learning through that to become better humans, and to actually we are experiencing who we are through the contrast. So then we can know how powerful we are only through the contrast. So it is serving a purpose.
Right? Don't have to be so hard on myself about that.
You don't. Oh my God, no.
Accept it and allow that, like, you know, okay, that was part of the learning phase. And now we don't have to do that anymore.
Exactly. And it comes down again to that self-love, right? Which is like we can even talk about like that is something that people talk about self-love, but then when you really break it down, like, do we really love ourselves? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do to love yourself more on a daily basis? It's simple. Start from there.
Yeah.
And then even if you don't know how to love yourself, maybe ask yourself, let's suppose I love myself, what would I do?
I like that. That's a great place to start. What would that look like if I love myself? Like, and it's a big thing. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day about, you know, the idea of how we need to love ourselves first before we can truly love other people. And that if you don't love yourself, no one else can love you enough to make up for it.
Amen. Like, that is the chapter 1 in my book. Love, self-love. That is like, amen, girl. Like, nobody can love you, and nobody can give you the respect you deserve. Whether we talk about romantic partners, we're talking about the clients, you know, friendships. It's just a reflection of who you are.
Yeah, and that is quite a process sometimes to learn how to truly love ourselves and what that means to us specifically. And a lot of people are at a handicap. Like, I'm super, super lucky. I grew up in a family that is so, just taught me and gave me such stable, deep love. Like, to me, love is a state of being. It is something that I am. It's something that I can give. It's something that I have. Like, it's so deep within me. And I have so many friends and other people that grew around with like conditional love or even abuse and other things, like the complete opposite of love. And I've always felt, you know, as soon as I started to get out into the world more and see how families were different and how what other people had to go through, it's incredible that any of us are okay half the time. But like, to really, really learn how to love yourself and how to give love versus, especially when it comes to romance, I think of the idea of like falling in love. I'm not somebody who's like very romantic and needing or desiring to be like, oh, I just love being in love, and like falling in love is like so fun. I'm like, that's lust, which is great and that's fun, but that's a feeling. Give me love. Give me genuine, true, deep love, state of being, whatever is best for you is what I want for you, even if it means I never see you again. That kind of thing. And just been watching a friend who's like really desiring to be in a relationship and struggling with that, and grew up with like issues at home that really handicap them from being able to love themselves. And it's just like, I
hear you. And I did have, like, I'm from family that very super supportive, loving family. So I was raised by parents that loved me unconditionally. So I'm in a way very lucky and blessed, because that is the foundation for us, right? But at the same time, I did experience in my life many times, I mean, experienced relationships with men who, I mean, it wasn't really serving me. And the more I analyzed it back then, it was because I wasn't really loving myself. And so it took me a while to understand that actually, when you reach the point that you don't need anybody to love you, it's kind of the paradox. Like, you reach the point when you and we have a question, what does it look like when you love yourself? That's a great question. We can get to it. So when you reach the point when you are like proud of yourself, satisfied with yourself, even though you accept yourself imperfect, that's kind of when I feel like that's when it starts shifting for you. Like, the wrong relationships will fall apart, the right people will come to you. I'm talking the real people, deep relationships, deep connection, soul level, and it just, you attract it effortlessly. And it's gonna make sense. So, like, I feel like I'm there. This is my phase now, when I'm so blessed to be surrounded by people who I am connected with them on very deep level, and it's certainly my soul tribe. And I'm so grateful and blessed, because, you know, looking back after so many years of up and downs in relationships, you know, it makes sense, and it's beautiful. So I think it's possible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And all of that in this question makes me think of some of the things to me that show not loving myself are needing other people's approval to feel good about who I am or what I'm doing. Body image issues, like looking in the mirror and saying, I wish this was different, I wish that was different. So these are all things to me that represent not loving myself, partly because I think it can be easier to show, like, when I am loving myself, I can look in the mirror and just be at peace with who I am. And I don't feel like I need to lose 5 pounds or need to change this, or if only my lips were more full and my nose were more small, or whatever it is. It's also not thinking that I need to be or look or act a certain way to receive other people's love. So it's all that, to me, not loving yourself is needing the outside approval, needing to be something that I am not.
Exactly.
I feel like that's exactly
or accommodating other people over yourself. Like, like, say no if you feel like no, you know, and say yes when you genuinely feel it in your heart, and be who you, give yourself permission to be who you are. And this, I feel like that is a process, again, because we discussed it already. Like, I was hiding for many years, and putting people on pedestal, and then I was wondering, why is this happening to me? Well, it was just a mirror, right? They were mirroring what was going on within me. And we need to know. So, I mean, I feel like people are greatest teachers. Whoever is in your reality, look around. Your friends, family. I mean, obviously, family is a different story. But like your friends, people you choose to hang out with, and what do they reflect back? Like, what are they trying to show you? If there is something wrong, like, go within, ask these questions. Like, how can I change something? Or what is this person showing me about myself? How can I heal this part of me? Because I feel like oftentimes it is the healing process that is taking place, again, subconsciously, we are not even aware of, when the person is mirroring your deepest fears and pains from the past, right? So we need other people to show us what's going on within you. Again, otherwise, how would you find out, right?
It was cruising along. That makes sense. I love one of my big philosophies in life is that everyone is your teacher. Nobody is your friend, your lover, your enemy, even your parent, not your sister, not your this, not your that. Everyone is your teacher. And whenever somebody triggers some sort of response in me, I'm like, ooh, what is going on there? And typically with like the more undesirable feelings, when I have them, I'm like, oh, why is that coming up? And when I interacted with that person, what is that? And the same as you, like, what is that showing me? What is that here to teach me? Rather than to like hate them, or like, even if it's just somebody in line getting coffee and they're like feeling rude to you, or like brushing, or like pushy, or this or that. It's like, why does that set me off so much? Whatever it is, like there's so many opportunities to learn about ourselves, our purpose, our growth, how to love ourselves.
Totally. And that's the awareness process, like deepening your awareness level, right? Like it is a process. Like we are not enlightened beings. Let's put it this way. We are growing and learning, and it's fun, right?
It is fun. It is fun. Definitely. I love that. Do you have any favorite pieces of advice that anyone's ever given you, or quotes that you really, really like that we could share with everyone?
Well, I don't know. There's so many different quotes, so I don't know. I mean,
I actually have like, I would hate being asked some of these questions I ask people sometimes because my recall is really slow. If we start talking about stuff, I'll have like 20 different quotes to tell you.
If
you just ask me offhand, I'm like,
well, I'm just gonna keep it very simple. Keep it simple. Like follow your heart. I mean, that's like really what I'm trying to live by day, and dream big. Like dare to dream big. And believe that you are meant to have beautiful life, and outrageously beautiful. You know what I mean? We are here to experience the journey, the wildest journey you can ever imagine. Like, don't settle. Follow your heart. Yeah,
I love that. And that it's okay, and beyond okay, it's necessary to do that, because I can come up against a lot of, it's my own internal thing of feeling like I'm being judged, of like, well, yeah, of course, yeah, Laura, everybody wants to like be on their own schedule and like travel when and where they want to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to make that happen for me. So you go about it, try to do it your own way. And because I've felt a lot of guilt in myself different times around that, as well as even just like the work day. Like I am not at a standard job because also I want kind of flexibility in my day. I want things to shift and change and move. And there's a lot of like rigidness in my schedule because I work with clients. But I like it to like ebb and flow. And for me, it was just forgiving myself and allowing that, like, yes, maybe other people want that too. And it's okay for me to do what I need and want to do to make that possible.
Yeah.
I definitely had some sort of guilt around that. So I'm not sure if you.
No, and I hear you, because that is again like those labels, like what is norm and what is not. And here's the deal. The norm is what you create is norm. Like I like to break the rules, even though I'm a lawyer. You know what I mean? And I like that. Even the way I run my business, like my law firm, is totally, it's not traditional. The way I'm doing my business coaching, everything I'm doing, like it's different. Like it's not, like I truly believe that we can create our own rules, and whatever you want, you can create. So, and it's so good what you said, like, that feeling, that guilt will come up possibly because it is just showing you that you are influenced by opinion of other people.
Big one.
Ooh. So you just become aware and consciously choose to, again, follow your heart and trust that your desires are there for a reason, and it's your internal GPS showing you where you should go and what is this life about. I believe that desires are our guidance, and it is there for a reason, whatever the desire is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because that hits so loud. The idea of guilt is that seeking other people's approval on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Get some coaching right here, but I think that's so helpful, because I know a lot of people that kind of experience that emotion. I like to look at what does a particular emotion mean to me? What is it trying to tell me? And that I thought when you said that was really, really, really helpful. Love it. Ooh. Oh, so love is the law. I feel like I'm so grateful for your time. So I definitely love to talk some more soon. But I'll wrap up.
We will. It was fun, and I'm going to see you soon. We will hang out for sure.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to when you come back. Let me know. We'll definitely meet up. And yeah, so everybody can find you at MarietaOslanec.com.
Yeah. And then they can go to loveisthelaw.com as well.
Love it. Yay. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful for you. And
thank you for having me. This was fun. This was so much fun.
It was really fun. I think I could talk to you for a couple more hours. But
I know. Let's do like 5 hours long live stream. That would be crazy. We should do like a summit series, something like that. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it. I have a new project I'm working on with a friend, and would love to come up with some more projects like that.
Yeah. We should definitely brainstorm. We will. I mean, yeah, I can see that happening.
I love it. Let's do it. Game on.
Game on.
And yay. And everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for some of the good questions and nice responses and lots of little hearts there.
Yay.
That's from my sister Diane, actually.
Yeah.
Big hearts, big hearts. Have such a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you and see you real soon.
Thank you, love. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.